Welcome to the LDS Mental Health Podcast. This is a podcast for faithful women who want healing in their relationships, guidance from God, and internal peace. Each week, you'll hear mental health concepts taught through a spiritual lens from me, a licensed clinical mental health counselor, to help you start thinking in a higher and holier way. Welcome. On this episode, we will be discussing what to do when people push or break your boundaries. Enjoying these episodes I've been putting out this month about relationships. We've covered lots of different types of relationships, but today's topic can really apply to any relationship. We're going to talk about boundaries. I love this topic because it can really apply to a lot of situations or relationships that you have. Any person in your life might be pushing or breaking your boundaries. So it's important to really think about and think ahead in these situations and know how to handle them. So today, I thought I would present the do's and the don'ts of boundary setting and keeping. First of all, I love this quote from Brené Brown about boundaries. She said, "Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others." I love this because it's something I preach a lot about it with my therapy clients. I'm constantly reminding my clients that boundaries are not to change another person. A lot of times I hear women say, "I set boundaries, but they just don't work." And whenever I hear that statement, I know that the person has the wrong perspective when it comes to the reason you even set boundaries. People who push or break your boundaries are not people who will respect boundaries in the first place. So setting the boundary isn't to change them. Boundaries are necessary for your own well-being. Boundaries are to help you feel safe, stay emotionally well, and take better care of yourself and be able to love yourself when you're with others. Boundaries are about you, not another person. When you look at boundaries with this type of perspective, you can really formulate what boundaries you need in your life a lot better. So let's dive in and talk about the do's and don'ts of boundaries so that you can start to feel safe, emotionally well, and take care of yourself. Okay, let's start with the don'ts of boundaries. Number one is boundaries don't have to change another person's behavior to be effective. Just like I said a second ago, if a person doesn't change their behavior when you set a boundary and they keep pushing, it doesn't mean the boundary is wrong or needs to be changed. Sometimes people who are you're needing to set a boundary with are people who just don't respect them, and that's okay. Remember, these boundaries are for you to feel safe, emotionally well, and taken care of, and not for them to stop their behaviors. So you might be thinking, okay, if they keep doing what they're doing, how do I create that safety or emotional protection and self-care if they aren't responding to my boundaries or respecting my boundaries? Well, this actually leads to my next don't. Boundaries don't have to have consequences, just actions you will take. I often hear women think about boundaries as consequences they'll give someone if they don't respect their boundaries. This again is looking at boundaries to change someone else, rather than thinking about actions you're going to take for yourself if a person or a situation doesn't make you feel safe, emotionally well, or taken care of. What are you going to do for you in this situation when it comes up in your life again? How are you going to handle this situation to create that safe space for yourself? Dishing out consequences for other people's behaviors can come across as manipulative and like you need other people to act in a certain way in order for you to function. The truth is, people don't have to change for you to protect yourself. Think of actions you can take that don't involve that person changing but allow you to keep your protections for yourself. Now, boundaries also don't have to be verbalized, just thought out for yourself. Once you have thought of your boundary, you don't have to go tell that person what your boundaries are. No need to shout it from the rooftops and let everyone know what you're going to do next time this situation arises. Just think about the situation in your own mind. Rehearse it a few times if you need to, and think about the actions you're going to take next time it arises. Now, I'm going to give some examples at the end after I cover the do's of boundaries, setting and keeping. But the first thing I want to do when it comes to setting and keeping a boundary is to think ahead about what areas of your life do you even need to set a boundary in. Maybe think about the areas of your life that you are dreading, that are draining you, or that you're avoiding. Do these areas need some boundaries set in them? Really sitting down and looking at the different areas of your life that are really taking a toll on you can help you regain that safety, emotional protection, and take care of yourself. So really prioritize that time in your life. Then, after you have decided on an area of your life that needs some boundaries, the second thing to do is think about the bottom line. What do you need in this area to feel safe, emotionally well, and taken care of? What are you not willing to let happen anymore? Where do you need to draw the line in this situation that's causing you to feel like a boundary needs to be set? Being able to just verbalize to yourself what it is about this situation that you're not liking can really help you understand what to do about it. What is it about the situation that makes you feel uncomfortable, unsafe, or unwell? Can you describe it to yourself? Once you can verbalize to yourself what you don't want to have happen anymore, then you can move on to that last do of setting and keeping boundaries, which is to think about what you will do for yourself when this situation arises to help keep you safe, emotionally well, and taken care of. Remember, you don't have to verbalize it to the other person, and it doesn't have to be a consequence. It can be an action that you will take if you are presented with the situation again. How will you protect yourself? What will you say or do? Really try to walk yourself through the situation and pre-plan. That way you aren't trying to think about it in the middle of the moment when it's happening, right? So let's go through a few examples or boundaries I see women encounter, and I'm going to use the do's and the don'ts we just talked about. One area you might need to set a boundary in is with conversations you don't feel comfortable having or topics you don't want to talk about. Maybe there's people that tend to gossip or talk negatively about other people, and you don't want to participate in this. Now, you don't have to come out and give a consequence and say, if you talk badly about others, I can't be around you. Remember, you don't have to announce boundaries and you don't have to give consequences. You can just simply think about these situations in advance, decide what actions you'll take if it comes up. You can decide what you'll say. You can decide maybe you'll say something positive about the situation or person if it comes up. Or you could decide to change the subject, or you could excuse yourself for a moment and come back later. You might need to have multiple ideas based on different scenarios, but this way you feel safe, emotionally well, and you're taking care of yourself in that moment. You didn't need to change that person into a positive person. You can simply think of actions that protect you. All right, let's do another one in a different area. How about the area of internal capacity? Do you ever find yourself overcommitting or saying yes to something and then later regretting it? You don't swing the pendulum the other direction and start saying no to everyone. However, you can give yourself some time to really think about whether you have the emotional or physical capacity to commit yourself to it. Coming up with a few phrases in your mind that allow you the space to really think can be helpful. Maybe saying that sounds fun, but can I get back to you? Or wow, I would really love that. How soon do you need an answer on that? Or man, I'm not sure what else I have going on. Can I let you know? Sometimes setting boundaries just looks like giving yourself a moment to think rather than making a quick decision. Okay, let's do one more. What if you're needing some personal space in your life and you want to take that time for yourself? This might mean having more of a conversation with someone and coming up with a compromise. This might not be as straightforward, but really think about what your bottom line is. What is it what is it that you would like to do for yourself? Is it to spend time exercising, doing a hobby, or going out with friends and having connections? How often do you want to do this? Where do you think you want to work this in? Think about what you want to do, then present this information to your partner or family. Let them know how important it is for you and how it will benefit them when you show up with a full cup to help them. Show them how you're looking out for yourself, just as you hope they do as well. That you're hoping to be a good example for them. Then ask them how this might impact them and have a discussion with them about how you guys could work together to make this happen. This might get creative, but can help you work together. Okay, hopefully those were helpful. I know that barely scratches the surface of examples you can set with boundaries, but I really encourage you to take the time to look at your life and decide now where to set those boundaries and create a plan moving forward. Okay, if you missed any of the relationships episodes this month, be sure to go back and listen. And next month, we're going to be talking about preparing your kids for different things in their lives. So be sure to hit the follow and subscribe button on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss an episode. All right, see you next month. Thank you for listening to the LDS Mental Health Podcast. I hope you were able to find ways of healing, guidance, and peace. If you liked this episode, please share it with a friend who would love to start thinking in a higher and holier way as well. Or hit that follow button so you don't miss out on any episodes. Also, check out the links in my show notes for other episodes you might like and links for other mental health resources on my website.